apparently the NBA is like, look, we're here to make headlines. This is what we're about. We understand that the NFL has the Super Bowl coming up. Nah, we gonna skip all that. We here to stay. We gonna make these headlines. So one day after LeBron James, passes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time NBA scoring record, all time, 20 years in the making. That record right there was that's one of the hardest records to beat. And I'm not sure if we'll see it eclipsed again in our lifetime or ever, depending on, when LeBron officially retires. But, for him to do that's phenomenal. But one day after doing that and everybody's celebrating greatness as they should and, his accomplishments, the NBA really said, like, nah, fam, we got more. We're doing more. We got the trade deadline. We about to, hit it out the park with a couple of these trades here. And, it's bad enough that a few days ago that Kyrie Irving got traded to Dallas. That's bad enough. He demanded a trade and, they pretty much gave him a trade. And so now, the same night that Kyrie Irving made his debut with the Mavericks, we had 3 trades. 3. First, it started with the Lakers and Russell Westbrook. They finally got rid of that man. All these rumblings and rumors of, how Russ doesn't fit there and the narrative of Russell Westbrook and just a whole bad relations and PR with him in the Lakers. So they finally shipped him off. 3-team trade. He goes to Utah. He goes to the Jazz. Mike Conley, he gets moved over to the Timberwolves. And D'Angelo Russell, where he started his career at, he is right back with the Lakers. So the Lakers got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jarrett Vanderbilt. The Jazz will send picks, Mike Conley and picks to the T-Wolves, and of course the Jazz gets Russell Westbrook and a lightly, quote-unquote, protected 2027 first-round pick from the Lakers. So all this means is the Lakers, they're 13th in the West, because even though LeBron broke the scoring record, they still ended up losing to the Thunder. You get D'Angelo Russell, who probably is a better fit for their offense. You got Vanderbilt that can, I think he's a pretty solid defender. Beasley, solid role player. But I don't know if it moves the needle. Maybe at the time of the trade, at that particular time, maybe, but there's definitely more that happened yesterday, for sure. As far as Russell Westbrook, more than likely he's gonna get bought out by the Utah Jazz, and possible suitors for him includes the Los Angeles Clippers, which would be very interesting, as they are probably going to end up buying out or let John Wall go. Or the Chicago Bulls, which my team desperately needs a point guard. I don't know if Westbrook really fits the mold, but you know what? I wouldn't mind Russell Westbrook right now, especially the fact that he's been, quote unquote, written off the whole time. The bad narratives, the bad PR. Whoever gets Russell Westbrook is going to get a very motivated, angry, probably vintage Westbrook for the rest of the year. That's probably what's going to happen. So I wouldn't mind that. Especially with my team that's being inconsistent. I need some consistent, high-level energy. Now, I know at times that Westbrook could, get in his own way. And maybe I think that was more so a product of his own environment with the Lakers, just being in that chaos. But I think wherever he goes, honestly, it's going to be a sigh of relief. He can not have that much pressure on him and just play ball. I think that's what's really going to happen here. All right, so the second trade that went down, which is, I guess relatively minor compared to that first one. The Blazers trading Josh Hart to the Knicks for Cam Reddish and protected future first-round draft pick. Josh Hart has been a glue guy. Josh Hart actually reunites with the point guard for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson. They used to be teammates at Vanderbilt. I'm sorry. Wow, I'm all over the place. Villanova, where they won a national championship at. They used to be teammates there. And so for the Knicks, this is actually a pretty good piece for them. Josh Hart is a guy that can do it all. Pretty good defender, very underrated rebounder, corner three specialist, 3-and-D type of guy. Plays with a lot of energy, high IQ. Should fit Tibbs' system perfectly. Reddish, a guy that they didn't even really play. I feel like he still has a lot of upside. Just wasn't in the right system or environment. Maybe at this point he gets a chance to thrive in Portland. We'll see. But Josh Hart going to the Knicks, that's a really good trade for them. Now, the blockbuster of all blockbusters. I doze off. I wake up a couple of hours ago. And what did I see? I see Kevin Durant. Yes, you know who I am, that guy. Gets traded to the Phoenix Suns. That actually went down. The trade request that he wanted over the summertime didn't happen, but it happened now. It's a done deal. Kevin Durant is traded to the Phoenix Suns for Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round draft picks, and a 2028 pick swap. Wow. So Brooklyn basically said, you know what? We're tired of it. Tired of the shenanigans. Tired of the inconsistencies. Tired of the uncertainty of you and Mr. Irving and all the turmoil and headaches that you all have put me through in the last 3 to 4 years. We're going to cut ties now, get as much as we can, start this thing over. Thank you for your services, but you are no longer needed. That's exactly what they said. And as far as the Phoenix Suns, this gives them a new surge, a new life. Because there was reports last week that they were trying to get Kyrie Irving and they were willing to offer Chris Paul. And there was reports before that they were willing to move on from Chris Paul, get another point guard in for the future. But this right here changes everything. So not only do you have Chris Paul and you acquire Kevin Durant, you still have Devin Booker and you still have DeAndre Ayton. The team that was removed from the NBA Finals a couple years ago now finds themselves back in contention once again. The Phoenix Suns are currently 5th in the West, 8.5 games outside the number 1 seed in the Western Conference that is currently held by the Denver Nuggets. 30-26 on the year. With this trade, the Phoenix Suns have a legitimate chance to go into the NBA Finals again. A healthy Kevin Durant, this team, once again, I'm going to say it again, has a legitimate chance of getting to the NBA Finals. Yeah, Mikal Bridges, definitely a true definition of a 3-and-D wing for sure. An Iron Man who has never missed an NBA game at all. Never missed a game in his career. That's what it feels like. Who shuts down your best opponent and is capable of dropping 15 to 20 a game. Yes, you get rid of him. Cam Johnson, who has definitely come on, has definitely earned, all the recognition he was given, and the potential and the upside is there. And Jay Crowder, who just fell out of favor with the rotation at all, hasn't really played this year like that. Yeah, you don't have those pieces, but you have an all-time great. We're talking about top 15 all-time great. Arguably the greatest scorer, talent-wise, this league has ever seen. A matchup nightmare. And the fact that you have him surrounded by Devin Booker, who's an instant bucket. Chris Paul, who's one of the greatest point guards to ever live. And DeAndre Ayton, who is not a slouch at the center. I mean, could he play a lot better? Sure. But could he be a lot worse? Absolutely. DeAndre Ayton isn't bad. On his good days, he can give you 20 and 10. If anything, he averages a double-double. And he can somewhat protect the rim when he wants to. So it comes down to the bench. It comes down to coaching. It comes down to health. But this Phoenix Suns team is legit. That is a legitimate contender now. So for Dallas, who has the same record, for the Kings, that's 2 games ahead. For the Grizzlies, that's 4 games ahead. You're in trouble. I think the Nuggets are legitimate, but I'm curious to see what they can do against the Phoenix Suns now once Kevin Durant comes back from his injury. I am curious to see what happens here. I mean, when he was on Brooklyn, who was guarding him? I mean, who's guarding Devin Booker and Kevin Durant? And the fact that you still got to somewhat watch out for Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. I don't even know. Like, Denver doesn't have the perimeter defenders. Maybe Memphis does to a certain degree, but they don't have enough scoring power, in my opinion. I mean, Sacramento, they're quote unquote young, but you don't expect the Kings to beat them in a 7-game series. I mean, Dallas has the offensive firepower, but they traded their defense away to get Kyrie Irving, so that's that. The Clippers. That's a wild card team right there. Yeah, they're 6 in the West. Yeah, they're 31 and 27. But they haven't played at their full potential. Now let's just say they end up with Russell Westbrook. And he's angry. And he's focused. And he's playing loose. With Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. If all healthy, let's just say everybody's healthy, no injuries, all that's aside, Clippers could be a problem. But New Orleans, I don't know. I mean, at their peak, when everybody was playing, they had the best record in the West. Without Zion, they're 2 games above 500. So they definitely need Zion. I cannot wait to see the Western Conference in the playoffs, and I hope every team is healthy when we get there. I really can't. Minnesota, 30 and 28. And they just got rid of D'Angelo Russell. I mean, insert Mike Conley. I mean, he's okay. He's not what he used to be. Far from it, but it's all right. Golden State. The one team that you cannot ever write off. We're just waiting to see, Steph Curry, all that stuff. Can't officially write them off. Portland, 27-28. Utah, 27-29. Nah. The Thunder, who don't know any better, 26 and 28. They might be hanging around. Then you got the Lakers at 25 and 30. Whew. So Phoenix is legitimate to me. I mean, a few of those teams are. The Lakers still 13th in the West. That's a steep hill to climb. And, maybe they had a chance. Maybe they had a very, very slim chance to get into the playoffs and make a run. But if the Lakers met the Suns right now in the playoffs, no, it's a wrap. Phoenix is winning that series, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So, we still got a few hours left on the deadline. It ends today, 3 o'clock Eastern time. 3 Eastern. Man. NBA definitely know how to make some headlines here. And we ain't even get into the Super Bowl matchup yet. The Chiefs and the Eagles. And I've been going back and forth personally, because this matchup feels pretty even to me in my book. Even though the spread is 1.5 in favor of the Eagles. And yeah, my brain says that the Eagles are the more complete team. It's hard for me to bet against Patrick Mahomes, especially when he has a competent offensive line. The last time we saw Mahomes in the Super Bowl, they got routed. They got waxed. They got beat down by the Bucs a couple of years ago, mainly because the offensive line was non-existent. He ran for his life. Matter of fact, I think he ran almost 500 yards around the field in that game because the offensive line was non-existent. That's not the case anymore. They actually have an offensive line. Yeah, Mahomes had a high ankle sprain since the Jags game in the divisional round. That's been about 3 to 4 weeks ago. That ankle is not as bad anymore. Now, it was iffy when they played Cincinnati, because a week after, high ankle sprain does not get better in a week. No, it takes a few. So 3 weeks later, I'm sure he's definitely not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that ankle feels a lot better than what it did 3 weeks ago. A lot better. So it's hard for me to count him out. It is. It is. Even going against a team like Philly, who has pretty much looked like the best team overall all year, has been the most complete team, the most consistent team. Started with Jalen Hurts and it ends with Jalen Hurts in that regard. I mean, had Jalen Hurts not got hurt, pun intended, he probably been clear-cut favorite for MVP. Now it's probably going to the other quarterback that he's going against. So they both played at MVP levels this year. Jalen Hurts has, answered all the questions. Even the owner came out and said he has nothing left to prove in regards to contract extension, so he's getting his bread no matter what. I guess it doesn't matter how much at this point. They come out and win a Super Bowl, then sky's the limit. I mean, if not, he's still getting paid, but maybe he probably gets paid a little bit more if he actually comes home with the hardware. Both of these teams won a Super Bowl within the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. Both of these teams have ties to Andy Reid. Of course, you got Kelsey brothers. They're going against each other. You got a lot of playmakers in this game. You just got a lot of high power, high energy, guys that's ready to lay it all out on the line. This should be a great Super Bowl. Definitely should be. and I can't even make my pick yet. I can't. Now, Saturday, when I get on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, I'll be forced to make my pick. So I'm going to definitely take these next couple of days to figure it out, because this is very tough. This is tough. I haven't seen a Super Bowl this even in a long time, in my opinion. A.J. Brown definitely unlocked everything for this offense. And I hope this is the blueprint for my Bears in the offseason. I really do. Just get my man a number one. Get my guy Justin Fields a number one. And hopefully this can happen, just like it happened for the Eagles here, to make it to the Super Bowl. And if we're going, position by position, who has, better the advantage per se. Quarterback, I have to give the edge to Patrick Mahomes by default. But it's not like a clear-cut advantage because of the way Jalen Hurts has been playing this year. But got to take Mahomes. Running backs, I have to give that to the Eagles. Miles Sanders has balled out this year. And just in general, they have the best running attack in football. Wide receivers, I have to give that to the Eagles as well. Even though the group of Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and McCole Hardman, Sky Moore, that they've done wonders for the Chiefs. But what A.J. Brown has done for this offense, the development of Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Eagles won that. Tight end, of course, goes to the Chiefs. Offensive line. Ooh. I'm going to have to give the slightest edges to the Eagles. Because Lane Johnson, my gosh, probably the best offensive lineman in the league this year. By far. Defensive line. I'm going to say push. I'm going to go push. Yeah, the Eagles have a pretty good defensive line, but so does the Chiefs. And Chris Jones, he's been a monster. So I'm going to say they're even there. Linebackers, I'm going to give the slightest edge to the Chiefs. Because I just feel like they're more groomed in that regard. Secondary, I have to go Eagles. Definitely have to go Eagles there. Because, man, between Gardner Johnson and Big Game Slay, just them alone, they've been tremendous. They've definitely been tremendous this year. Safeties, I'm going to have to go the same with the Eagles. Special teams. Ooh. I'm going to give the slightest of edges to the Chiefs. Coaching. Slightest of edges to the Chiefs. And that's almost a push. And so that's why it's so hard. Because each team has, it's more equipped than the other in certain positions and better production, but it almost balances out at the end of the day. It does. So I'm gonna wait till Saturday to make my pick. This is tough. This is very tough. So, yeah. And then after the Super Bowl, as a Bears fan, it is, and for my fellow Bears fans, it's our time to shine, because the Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen, controls the entire offseason of the NFL. With having the most money to spend in free agency and having a number 1 overall draft pick, we run free agency. We run the NFL draft. Therefore, we run this offseason. But we will patiently wait until after the Super Bowl. But when March comes around, I'll best believe you're going to hear a lot of us. But, all right, people, continue to rock with your boy right here on the No Offense Radio, No Offense Network. Check me out at JGoodWithSports. We're talking about on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Check out the podcast, JGoodWithSports. Like I mentioned, I'm on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast this Saturday with my bros Brandon and Ian. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have a full panel on hand as this is the Super Bowl edition. And I'm pretty sure everything that I just talked about today is going to get discussed because, man, oh man, the NBA definitely turned up in the last 48 hours. And I love it. I'm here for it. But yeah, you all have a good one. Be safe. Stay blessed. Until next time. Peace.